Gentlemen, my Lord Mayor, Lady Mayoress. My gracious Lord Mayor, good gracious Lady Mayoress. First of all, folks, I'd like to say how tickled I am. Well, I said, how tickled I am. Did you see that? I'll do it again. This lady seems to like it. Put the binoculars away now, dear. You're looking down the wrong end, anyway. My age, that's all I need. Now, be honest, lady, is this the first time you've seen a Chippendale? I'd like to say, how tickled I am, how completely discombobulated, how full of plumptiousness to be here tonight. An audience with LWT. LWT, a long wait for a titter. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what an audience, we've got a special audience. Now, I think it'd be a good idea. We watched you coming in, you know. We peeped through the curtains. We saw you all staggering along the South Bank, all using your inhalers. Elastic stockings flapping in the breeze. And I stand here now on this stage and look, can you imagine what's going through my mind? What a challenge. Honestly, I've seen happier looking bloodhounds. Do you know, I think it'd be a good idea now if all the ugly ones came down and sat near the front. You have? Good. Well, this is now... As you know, folks, as a special concession, people with big ears were allowed in half price. Congratulations, sir. Do you know, I've been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to you all day today. Give you an idea of the sort of life I live. 5 o'clock this morning in Nottingham, I flung the bedroom windows open, climbed in. I thought, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful day for doing something wild and sporty, like ramming a brush stave up Nigel Mansell's trousers and saying, how's this for pole position? For taking all your clothes off, strapping your legs around the back of your neck and shouting, how's this for an oven-ready turkey? Ready when you are, Bernard Matthews. What a beautiful day for going up to a kilted Scotsman standing over a puddle and saying, I see it's a full moon again, Jock. Just to think we're all going to spend the next 7.5 hours listening to stuff. Hey? Oh, yes, we are. Oh, yes, we are. Oh, yes, we are, Mrs. You said you could do it and you wrote in. You see, time, ladies and gentlemen, time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. This is the way I look at it. Time matters not one jot. Let's all say that together. Time matters not one jot. Time matters not one jot. I'll ask you again in about 6 hours' time. There's one thing about my shows, folks. You always go home in the daylight. I've got to tell you, this studio's all been completely computerised. Oh, yes, we've all gone digital. Yes, all your statistics and personal details are noted on this computer. When you came in through the security... Hang on, I'll just get it for you. This... when you come in this evening, you walk through a security screen. Oh, yes, you have. Did you feel a tingle as you came in, Mrs... It should have gone right through to your corsets. You did. Well, come and see me after the show. Just make sure you're properly earthed. Here are all the computer statistics of our audience here at LWT. In the audience, over there, we've got 7 bricklayers, 6 carpet fitters, 2 taxi drivers, and a double glazing salesman. There he is over there, talking to himself. You'll notice, ladies, you're all wearing badges. Barcodes. You know, barcodes are those little patterns you see stuck on packets of frozen sprouts. Yeah. This. I'm sorry I looked at you then, Samantha. Now, what does your barcode tell me about you, sir? The gentleman there. You, sir, you take a size 10 in hats, you have a bunion on your left big toe, and a cocker spaniel called Eric. Your hobbies are writing rude words on steamed-up car windows and taking your trainers off in crowded lifts. It was your birthday last week, and all your friends clubbed together and bought you an old-fashioned bed warmer. A 68-year-old chorus girl. Are you all in a good mood? Good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, right now, I need your support. I need the loyal oath. Could we have the loyal oath, please? Hands on your hearts, please. Everybody, hands on your hearts. Yes, your own heart, if you don't mind, sir. Everybody now, everybody in the studio, repeat after me. We, the audience. We, the audience. At LWT. Solemnly swear. Flippin' heck. That we will never, ever repeat or reveal any of the new jokes Ken Dodd might tell us tonight. Now, that is not... Come on, please. What a galaxy, though. The last time I saw so many stars was when I banged my head on the mangle. Yes. Folks, our first star question tonight comes from the lovely Hannah Gordon, an actress of many parts, all of them in beautiful condition. Hannah Gordon. Are you there, Hannah?
Yes, I'm here. Ken, I would like to ask you if you actually came from a show business background. Were you a funny child?
Now, listen, when I was a little baby, I'd like to tell you a story of my life if you've got 5 or 6 hours to spare. No, but I'm gonna say, I'll tell you the story of my life. I'm gonna say something now. I'm gonna say something now, ladies and gentlemen, that you're gonna be flabbergasted. Really, you will. You'll say, my, we can hardly believe that. I wasn't a pretty baby. My. Oh, come on, be a bit more convincing, will you? No, I was plain. I had embroidered on my bib, this way up. I was an ugly baby, very ugly. I was the only baby in the street whose dummy had a 12-inch flange. My father put shutters on my pram. My dad knew I was going to be a comedian. When I was a baby, he said, "Is this a joke?" I was a bottle baby. Then one day I pushed the cork out and escaped. Do you know I could walk when I was 6 months old? My granny opened the front door and said, "Go on, hop it." When they took me out of my pram, people used to flock for miles. They thought it was a mobile Punch and Judy show. And that's how I started into show. I came into show business. I was with John Hanson in The Desert Song. I was second hump on the camel. For a while, I was Albert Tatlock's stuntman. At the age of 8, I had my own flea circus until my mother stopped me playing with the lad next door. Then, I'm ready for another question, ladies and gentlemen. And over here we have a very distinguished British actor of stage and film, James Fox. Can I be blunt? No, of course, you were. No, sorry. That's brilliant.
Ken, I've read that's your ambition to play every live theatre in the country. Do you have a favourite theatre?
Yes, I do. They're all my theatres. I'm sure, like yourself, all theatres are beautiful. There's the temples of show business, of course. In London, there's the Palladium, and there's beautiful theatres in the north, in Blackpool and Newcastle and Scotland. Is there anybody in from the north? Yes! Anybody in from Lancashire? Yes! Oh, well, you'll recognise tripe when you see it. Anybody in from Yorkshire? Yes! Oh, heck, you're not allowed to sit near the door. That's in case there's a collection. Yes. There's nothing wrong with Yorkshire folk, is there? Yorkshire born, Yorkshire bred, strong in the arm. As I say, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very distinguished gentleman here on the front row in evening dress and trainers. Good evening, sir. Are you a professional gentleman, sir? Are you an architect, sir? Surveyor? Doctor? Pardon? A bin man. I see. Right. Well, could I ask you rather a personal question, sir? And I wouldn't embarrass you. I realise with this lovely lady. What night of the week is your bath tonight, sir? What night's your bath?
Well,
no, he looks a nice man. Yes? Do you have to think
most
about
nights, really, about three or four nights a week.
3 or 4... Fella on the front row has a bath 3 or 4 nights a week. Are you in some kind of an institution, sir? Are you... This lady, is this matron? The lady in the safari jacket and the Doc Martens. Why are you having so many baths? I mean, what are you looking for? You won't find it, not unless they've got a big nurse. When you have these 3 or 4 baths a week, so do you have them all over, or does she just sit you on the draining board and go as far as you need? And when you get out of the bath, are you like most men? Do you have a quick flex? I bet you do. You're a big lad. I bet you're up in that bathroom for hours. Is he, missus? For hours? Yes. Posing in front of the long, full-length mirror. Bragging, shouting downstairs. Gladys! Gladys! Come and look at this! Hurry up! I can't hold him much longer! Do you use any male cosmetics at any of this? Fa-fa, a-fa-foo, a-fa-fee, a-fa-fa? Pledge! Oh, that's good. Oh, Pledge. Oh, she's bound to take a shine to you now. This is an educational show, you know. When you go out of here tonight, you say, well, that's taught me a lesson. Let's have a question from my favourite Frenchman, ladies and gentlemen. All I can say is thank heaven he's in English. From hello, Mr. Gordon Kay.
with respect, you have a curious mind. How would you describe your kind of comedy?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Well, optimistic. Yes. Because I am an optimist. And we have lots of optimists in the audience here tonight. They're the ones who book taxis for 11 o'clock. I love to ponder. I'm fond of a pond, you know. I mean, ask myself questions like, why does the tomcat always decide to lick itself just as you're having your supper? Well, here's another one you won't like. You tell me. On a Sunday evening, you're in the house. You've just had your tea. You're full of chunks. Well, all right then, Chinese passion fruit. But you're in the house. You've had a little trifle in the afternoon, and now you're having your tea. And you're just bunging in a shovelful of blancmange. You switch the television set on, and that fella's there, James Herriot. Now, exactly. He does the same blessed thing every week. Where's he getting all the cows from? That's what I'd like to know. There can't be that many poorly cows in Yorkshire, sure. You're having your tea, you're bunging in a shovel full of blancmange, and he's going, come on, me old beauty. And an amazed cow's going, I reckon he deserves a pat on the head for that. Are there any farmers in here tonight? Any farmers in? Yes. I thought so. You can always tell when there's farmers in when they're showing their wives to their seats. They say, come on, there you go, come on. I love anything like that, because anything intellectual I love, because I am an intellectual entertainer. Oh, yeah, intellectual entertainer. At one time, there was only Noel Coward and me doing this sort of stuff. But once he'd packed the accordion up, that was it. I was in like a shot. And I do draw, rather like a mustard plaster. I do... When I was a little lad, in my wee, when I walk down the street, people think I'm following them with an accordion. But when I was a little boy, my old granny, she used to, when I go to school, she used to stick a mustard plaster on my chest before I went to school. It was embarrassing. All the other kids used to wipe their ham sandwiches on me. But this is a very intellectual audience here tonight. In here tonight, there's an IQ of about 188. Between them, of course. Hey, I got some marvellous educational news last week. What day? It was Tuesday this week. I came downstairs to get the post, which is a good trick in a bungalow. And I picked it up and I found they've informed me by letter that I've won a prize in the Reader's Digest draw. No. I've nearly won a prize in the Reader's Digest. Not only that, but my name was specially selected from all the other people I see. You're actually looking at a person who's going through to stage 2. And I'm going to America with Hoover. Yes. I may be going to Scunthorpe with Electrolux, but I don't know. That isn't confirmed. Even a marvellous magazine, folks, the Reader's Digest, a mine of useless... I like reading... I love reading the medical articles. I'm potty, anything medical. I wasn't always. I used to think of Placebo as a Spanish singer. But this... Here's one I bet you didn't know. Did you know that a dog whistle is so high, the human ear hole can't possibly hear it? Your dog's probably sitting at home now in the kitchen, whistling his blooming head up. And you're just sitting here in LGBT, laughing hysterically. Ish. Oh, I bet when you get back home tonight, you know, your dog will be in the kitchen, your dog will say to you, I've been sitting in the kitchen all night, whistling my head up. You haven't taken a blind bit of notice. Anyway, the back door was bolted, so there it is. This is... What's that, man? You're not bothered because you've got a cat flap. Oh, do you mean personally or at home? I'll be good for the cats, because that's how we'll find our way back home tonight, you know, or tomorrow morning, or whenever this seminar finishes. Not following a ginger Tom. No, I'm talking about the cat's eyes. The cat's eyes in the centre of the road. The cat's eyes in the centre... This is rather pleasant, this. The cat's eyes... And that was a Yorkshireman who invented that, you know, the cat's eyes, by accident. One night, you see, this Yorkshireman, he's driving home at night in his big posh car in the dark, and suddenly, in the car's headlamps, he sees these cat's eyes coming towards him. Now, had the cat been walking the other way, it would have invented the pencil sharpener. But there you are. And these are little things. Well, Remember where you heard it first. Because knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. What is knowledge? Have you got the knowledge? Then you've got the power. Isn't it wonderful to be in control? This thing isn't working again, you know? We have another brilliant British actor, ladies and gentlemen, in the audience. A wonderful man, Mr. Martin Jarvis. He was in the famous film Chariots of Fire. He played a wingnut. But his biggest success of all was in the famous West End play, The Barefoot Contessa, when he played a veruca. This... What's on your mind, Martin, besides libel?
Well, talking of plays, Ken, you had success, I believe, when you played Malvolio in Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, and I wonder, have you any further plans to appear in straight plays?
Yeah, yes, well, you know what it's like, son. You can't get the plays, can you? They're not writing, are they? No. Where are the great plays still being written, Martin? You know?
Well, there you are.
Well, we must do it ourselves then, mustn't we? Eh?
Why not?
Well, why not? Let's write a play tonight, couldn't we? We could write a play between us, couldn't we? We've all the right people. If we put our heads together, we can make a plank. We could... Now, shall I be the hero of the... Because I come from a long line of heroes. You know? Oh, along my Uncle Sidney, he had a military bearing, which he used to juggle and make the kids laugh with. But this... Yes? My Uncle Eustace, he deserted during the military two-step, and my grandfather had a lot to do with the relief of Lady Smith. Yes, as a matter of fact, she invited him back the following night. So... Or shall I be the villain? Shall I do... What do you think, the villain? Yeah. Well, yeah, I could be a villain. I could be a villain. I could sue. I could do some villainous things, you know. At the end of the month, I always go down to the bottom of the garden, wait until the tortoise gets there, then turn it round the other way. I can do some pretty swinish things, you know. When it's pouring with rain, I love to ask policemen the time when they're wearing their bike capes. I close my eyes in the middle of wedding photographs, and when I'm at home, I deliberately leave the seat up. Yes. 10:30 at night, I always get the dog's lead down from behind the door and then don't go out. But... Now, this play is based on the film Futile Attraction. And, you've seen it, Futile Attraction, and there's this woman, she's obsessed by me. Naturally, of course. I am a matinee idol. I do very little in the evenings as well. This woman, she's a psychopath. I realise that when I see her riding her bike on the pavement. Please. Come on, you got in for nothing. There I am in the south of France, Monte Carlo, playing dominoes with Prince Rainier. I say, are you knocking, Your Highness? I go back to my beautiful French villa. I'm sitting in bed in my Austin Reed pyjamas, sitting there on the waterbed. Last night we left it switched on and we were nearly poached. I say we, because now I have this beautiful, tall French girl. She's standing on the balcony, framed in the French windows. The moonlight is dancing in her hair. The moonlight dancing in her hair. Oh, and then her. She's wearing a diaphanous nightie. And it's a fashion term, so I got that out of a lady out of a magazine. Diaphanous, it means semi-shufty. It's rather like buying a ham shank at the co-op, you know, wrapped in mutton cloth. It looks very tasty, but you can't quite get at it. I could murder a bowl of cornflakes, and that's when I realised she's a serial killer. And let's have... No, come on. Let's have... Let's have another question, ladies and gentlemen, from one of my favourite glamour girls tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Molly Sugden.
If you had the opportunity to have a really good part in a feature film...
Oh, yes.
But it meant taking off your clothes... would you do it?
Well, I do have a good part for that sort of work. I don't know, it's Molly. You don't watch films like that, do you? Have you got a satellite dish? Do you want... Have you tried Channel 27? Yeah, it's all got channel blocked, but you can't see them, but you can hear them. Eh? Ooh, ah, he, hoo, oh. I think they must be lifting a very heavy wardrobe. I saw one of those continental sexy films the other night. It was a Swedish film, and this in this film, this couple, this man and this lady, they were wrestling. You know, well, I think they were wrestling. They were all shiny. I think they'd been rubbing themselves with Trex. And there's subtitles, so you can understand the plot. He says to her, he said, "Most I'm gonna get out some more, gonna get out, whatever." She said, "What much anymore? She said, "More much gonna get out, photograph you. And the subtitle comes along on the bottom. Can you smell gas in here? We have in the audience a gorgeous lady renowned for her beauty, her brains. As the star of that wonderful programme, Tomorrow's World, Miss Carol Vorderman. Such a brilliant intellect, she can do Chinese takeaways in her head. Carol, we both share the same love of mathematics. Yes. And after the show, I'd like to present you with a copy of my new book, Teach Yourself Accountancy. I mean, based on my personal experience, it's called The Mysterious World of Numbers.
I should read it from back to front. Yet I'm heavily into science and also science fiction, and not a lot of people know this, but you once appeared in Doctor Who, did you not?
Doctor Who, yes.
Yes. Are you heavily into science fiction?
Oh, yes. I mean, sci-fi, yes. Oh, yes. I saw this science fiction film in our house the other night. It was all about this astronaut. This astronaut, he shot up into space. He went 3 times around the galaxy. He brought the spacecraft back to Earth. He swooped low over the Bernard Manning Memorial Sewage Farm. This astronaut, he shot up into space, as I say, and he looked through the porthole window, and he couldn't believe his eyes, because he was 100 years into the future. 100 years in the future, and everything on Earth had changed. There were no roadworks on the M6.
Stop it, you go too far.
Not on the M6, you won't. Our show this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is graced by the presence of a renowned concert artiste. A star of many platforms, as those of you who travel from King's Cross or St Pancras will know. Dame Hilda Brackett. Dame Hilda.
Kenneth, dear, delight to be able to ask you a question. Now, look at me while I'm talking. Has your voice been trained? Did you ever nurture a wish to go into grand opera? You do so well, dear.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Dame Hilda. Well, actually, Dame Hilda, I have had my voice trained. They put newspapers down for it, and I can actually cover 5 octaves. I've had my legs stretched. I don't know about opera, I don't know, because opera is very confusing. Opera is where a man gets stabbed and instead of bleeding, he sings. So... I like singing, and I think singing makes you happy, and I like happy songs. And you like happy songs, don't you? Yeah, of course. So, Maestro, have you any ha-ha music? Ha-ha, ha-ha. Come on, girls. Here we go. Ha-ha, ha-ha. Hee-hee. Mrs., are you laughing at something I've said or something he's done? I can't take credit for another lad's work. When I'm calling you, will you answer? Stop the car! Just one cornetto. Oh, I'd like to give it to you. There with the bend of the spurious tone of the cornet, clarinet and big trombone, fiddle, cello, fife, bassoon, far away as in a trance, all together the floor, we'll dance till we reach soul man. Suck a lemon if you can, if you can't suck a lemon, suck a lemon if you can. I've got to come boil a toothache, a bellyache, a pain in my left side, a pimple on me. On the road to where the frying chip shops pay. That's the wrong way to tickle Mary. That's the wrong way to go. Auntie Mary had a canary. Please. This is classical music. Oh, la 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 la. Oh. Idly down. There wasn't no farmer, he had no cow. Oh, this is La Donna Mobile, translated. Does anybody want to buy a lady's bike? No. Sorry, I thought you'd stalled. Sorry. Have you got a set of jump leads on you, sir? You have, but you're using them. La donna immobile, quel pur malvento, mutata cento, egli s'inferno. For he on shut the fall, you hang on, shut your face. Woman is fickle, give her a tinkle. Hold her waist tightly, do it twice nightly. Spaghetti bolognese spawn, and I'll have cannelloni too. Vincerò, vincerò, vincerò. Molti amore, sempre amore. Molti amore, sempre amore, cannelloni cappuccino. Molti amore, sempre amore, a Villa Masala. Molti amore, sempre amore, chicken tiki. Molti amore, sempre amore, vindaloo. Spaghetti bolognese, spaghetti whoops. Sorry, we are closed. Sorry, we are closed. The restaurant is closed. Go away, try McDonald's. The restaurant is closed. The chef is gone home. The chef got the hot dog. No, not the hot dog there. He got the hot dog here. It's a very, very bad hot dog. It's a very bad. It's a very serious. He no come back. The chef, he had his own cooking. He had the salmonella poached. Ooh, he got the jippy-tum. Quando caliente el sol aquí en la playa, siento el cuerpo vibrar cerca de mí. Es tu palpitar, es tu cara, es tu pelo, son tus besos, me estremezco. Oh, cuando caliente el sol. Love me with all of your heart, that's all I want to love. Love me with all of your heart, or not at all. Just promise me this, that you will give me all your kisses every winter, every summer, every fall. When we are far apart, or when you're near me, love me with all of your heart as I love you. Don't give me your love for a moment or an hour. Love me always as you've loved me from the start. Cuando caliente el sol. Cuando caliente el There's a wonderful atmosphere in here tonight, just like a clinic. This, friends, because I feel I can call you friends now, not for much longer. Friends, tonight, you see, tonight's Ticklemas Eve. Tonight's Ticklemas Eve and tomorrow's Ticklemas Day. I've had them especially re-fluffed for you tonight. Yeah. Oh, lavish, you're going to get it. Ticklemas Eve. This is why I'm wearing my hurry-furry coat. Genuine moggy skin, this, ladies. Moggy skin, pussycats. Took 28 moggies to make this. All Toms. It's full of life, this coat. A pair of underpants made of the same stuff. Moggy skin, long johns. When I walk down our street, people say, "Ah, here he comes." Here he comes. It's a joke. Well, that's definitely a joke. It is a joke. I recognise them. That's what we professional humourists, what we call a shaft of wit. And this is, well, that's something similar, sir. This. Right, this, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a gentleman in the audience, ladies and gentlemen, over here. Give my respect. Yes. You get these suits by sending away the tops of 12 birds custard packets. A young man over here, ladies and gentlemen, a man who works miracles. The world's greatest wizard, Paul Daniels. Paul Daniels. A magician who is so small, the rabbit keeps dragging him back into the hat. Yes. Paul Daniels, he's working very hard now on his most spectacular and difficult illusion, how to make David Copperfield disappear. Paul, amaze me with your question.
What's that old basket doing on the stage?
I'm trying to get laughs. This is a prop basket, did you know, Paul? You would probably be born in one of these, a much smaller one, of course. This, I hadn't heard that one before. This is an old prop basket, and it's full of props. Comics, all comics love props. Here, for instance, here's the jester's cowl. Now, the jesters all wore these like the fools of the Middle Ages, as opposed to a middle-aged fool, and they... Has a comical effect. The ladies are laughing already. This... They know it reminds them of a donkey. This... Sometimes I wish I was a donkey. Only sometimes, of course. This... You see, the jester had a fool's licence. You know, he could do anything like it. He used to go around hitting the king and all the noblemen over the head with his bladder. And it was very funny if he'd been... if he'd been on the lager the night before. This... Yes, this is a slapstick. Two pieces of wood, see? And that's a jester's. That's where the expression comes, the slapstick. And the red-hot poker, won't bother with that. This is my favourite product. This, the great drum of Notty-Ash. A little bit of classical music. Come and join us, silent night, softly, softly. Oh, I love a drum. You can't beat them. Well, you have to, actually. I never go anywhere without my drum. I love dashing into Tesco's and shouting, "I want Fortons off!" The special offers I've had, and in an emergency. I mean, supposing you, ladies and gentlemen, you were in a strange hotel in London. I know we found one, and you find yourself in a strange hotel, and it's in the middle of the night, it's pitch dark, and you don't know where you are, and you can't see the time. Well, stick your drum out of the bedroom window. Go on, love, you've got a beauty. Bung your drum out and go. Somebody always shouts, "Who the hell's playing a drum at 3:30 in the morning?" We have a very glamorous young lady here on the front line. A gorgeous girl who you can definitely count on. Well, Up to 2, anyway. This... Miss Samantha Fox is here. Hello. Ask me anything you like.
OK, well, I will. Don't worry. My question's rather personal, really. I'd like to know where your tickle stick idea comes from, to be honest.
Tickling stick? Well, Samantha, yes. A lot of people think, you know, the tickling stick is a sex symbol, but I think it's a fallacy. And it's a jester's prop. It is. It's a jester's prop. Now, we've got another man here. We've got a man here who became the long-suffering husband of Hyacinth Bucket, and he's been dying to kick her ever since. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Clive Swift.
Ken, you are known as the professor of tickleology. And you've studied the psychology of humour. So please, could you tell me, because I've been wanting to know all my life...
Yes?
What is a laugh?
What is a laugh? Well, a laugh, well, anatomically speaking, a laugh starts here in the middle of your diagram. It works its way up past through your clack and out through your titter valve. It's very like an attack of wind, actually, but it's... A laugh is a noise that comes out of a hole in your face. Anywhere else, you're in dead trouble. But people laugh at all sorts of things. Some ladies laugh at little things. It's a pity, really, but there you are. But for thousands of years, philosophers and psychologists, they've all tried to find the secret spring of laughter. Aristotle said that the nub of laughter was a buckled mill wheel. That is to say, life out of true. All the great philosophers, Schopenhauer, Kant, Bergson, Freud said that the essence of the comic was the conservation of psychic energy. But then again, Freud never played second house Friday night at Glasgow Empire. Listen, I think, ladies and gentlemen, there is a rainbow of laughter. A rainbow of laughter. At the very, very top, there's the laughter of pure joy. White, if you like, and you can hear that any time you like, for free. Just pass any school playground and you see little children leaping and jumping around for the sheer joy of being alive. And then you go right through the rainbow, through the different laughs, pink laughter, green laughter, blue laughter, and right at the very bottom, there's the dark colours of sarcasm, insult, satire. And that's, I think, laughter, a sense of humour, is a sense of seeing the funny side of life. I mean, people say, do funny things happen on the way to the theatre? No. A friend of mine, it was John Farrow, the producer, he had this marvellous idea to have a play written for him called Page 3 Girls. It was an excuse really to get young ladies to take their clothes off. And the opening night was at the Theatre Royal, Hanley. Page 3 Girls. Place was packed. The lights come down in the auditorium, complete blackout, and from the back, a little pin, I think it's called a pin focus line, went like that, and hit the front of the stage. The curtains parted, and out stepped this beautiful girl, not a stitch on, but a lovely 20-year-old, not a perfect, beautiful body, as naked as the day she was born. And she went up to the microphone and she said, "Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention?" We've got a man over here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a wonderful man over here who looks like Father Christmas with an attitude. It's Warren Mitchell.
Ken, I'd like to know, when you first came into this mad business of ours, did you have a comedian, a comic who was a hero that you wanted to model yourself on?
I did indeed one. I modelled myself, and I was very lucky because I had great heroes to look up to. Wonderful, wonderful comedians of 40 and 50 years ago. Arthur Askey, Ted Ray, Max Miller, the great Max. Blimey! And Arthur Askey was as a child, Arthur Askey was a wonderful man. It was like a firework display going off. He had so much energy, and the greatest stand-up comic of them all was Ted Ray. What a wonderful man. He's had such charm, sophistication. I The most lovable of all our great drolls must have been Rob Wilton, when he said, the day war broke out, the wife said to me, she said, why are you wearing that ridiculous uniform? He said, well, I'm guarding the White Cliffs of Dover in case we get invaded. She said, what, you? Oh, no, he said, there's 5 or 6 of us. He said, why are you wearing that ridiculous Home Guard uniform? He said, I've told you. He said, in case Hitler invades the White Cliffs of Dover. She said, well, how will you know it's him? Because you've said you're working in case Hitler invades. How will you know it's Hitler? Well, he said, I've got a tongue in my head, haven't I? And that is great comedy, legend. Thank you. People say, where are all the new comedians going to come from? Well, I'm going to introduce you now to a great new comic star from Merseyside. He's over here, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mickey Finn. Wonderful.
Thank you, Ken. Where do all the comedians come from, Liverpool?
Well, Arthur Askey said you've got to be a comedian to live in Liverpool. I love all the accent. Isn't that a lovely Liverpool accent? You know what I mean? I reckon. But the thing about a Liverpool accent, we can be understood, just about. British accents, down in the West Country, that's where they say, hello, my dear, hello, my flower, hello, my lover. And that's the men to each other. Here's a lovely West Country lass, Pam Ayres. You're a long way from the country, Pam. You must be free range.
Ken, I've often heard that if you tell a joke in the form of a poem or a verse, it works better as a poem. What do you think about that?
Well, I would just say, ooh, are. Definitely, I'd be like, yes, I think so, yes. I think it's the rhythm, isn't it, the rhyme. It seems to help the humour along. There was a marvellous comic called Billy Bennett, another Merseyside lad, Billy Bennett, who had fabulous monologues like this one. A sailor's farewell to his horse. It was a dirty night, it was a dirty trick, when our ship turned over in the Atlantic. It was the schooner Hesperus. We all lay asleep in our bunks, bound for a cruise where they don't have reviews with a cargo of elephants' trunks. The sea was as smooth as a baby's top lip. Not even a policeman in sight. And the little sardines had climbed into their tins and pulled down the lids for the night. Said, old Boatswain Brown, the ship's going down, and I'm sure that we'll never reach Blighty. It's women and children first, cried the mate. So I put on the old woman's nightie. I said to a girl, you must swim for your life. Or cling on to a boy, if you can. She looked at me coy. She said, you're not a boy. Get off, you're a dirty old man. Thank you. In the audience, we're very lucky to have one of our best comedy talents, the lovely Josie Lawrence. Josie, what's your line, anyway?
In these days of sexual equality, there's still more male comedians than female comedians. Now, would you agree that women can be as funny as men?
As funny? I know some very funny women. I mean, women are definitely funny. Only a woman would think of going to bed at night wearing a mud pack, hair in curlers, and then say, where's all the passion gone? Only a woman on a Saturday night would think of hoovering when you're trying to listen to the football results. Liverpool 4, Arsenal... I see over here, ladies and gentlemen, my dear friend, my dear old friend. I don't know whether I can coax him into asking a question because he's so modest and shy and humble. Mr. Frank Carson.
Well, I just thought, Doddy, have you ever thought of being politically minded? And are you politically correct?
Well, we've both got brilliant minds, Frank.
He's right.
I have thought of going into politics. Oh, yes, I have. As a matter of fact, to be honest, the job I fancy is Chancellor of the Exchequer. No, because... No, I do. Well, at least I'd be reunited with my money. But Frank, I refuse to tell ethnic jokes. This fellow went into a pet shop in Liverpool last week and he said, "Have you got any of them there pushery cars? How is it? Have you any got him and those little green and yellow fellas?" He was from West Liverpool. The pet shop owner said, yeah, he said, "We got some budgies." He said, how much are the little beggars? How much do you want them? He said, "They're £10. He said, £10. He said, £10. That's what I said, £10. He said, "How many you got?" He said, "I've got 100. Right, he said, "I'll take the lot." So he put £1,000 on the counter. He said, "Put him in an old cardboard box with some holes in his head, and I'll take him back with me." Now, when he got home, he'd had this beautiful waistcoat made. Oh, Frank, you're beautifully turned out. But this, it was on cotton moquette. It started here on the shoulders and went right down to his ankles. And it was, you've seen Joseph and his Technicolor, well, it was nicer than that. Beautiful. And all the way down, they had these pockets. There was 2 pockets here, 2 pockets, 2 pockets, 2 pockets, 2 pockets. And he put a little budgie in every pocket, you see? But in every pocket had a little budgie in. And a curious little birds, you know, they're lovely little things. They kept popping their little heads out and waggling their little beaks. You do it for me, dear. Oh, my God. He got on the train at Liverpool and went down to London. Got off at Euston, walked all the way to the post office tower, climbed to the top and jumped off. Yes. The waistcoat, the budgie, him from Liverpool to London. Trudged all the way to the GPO tower, clambered his way to the very, very, very top, and hurled himself into space. Well, he just went on the deck. One of his pals rushed on him. He said, Paddy, what the hell are you trying to do?" "Oh, I'll tell you one thing," he said. "That budgie jumping is a waste of bloody time." Over here, we have Scotland's answer to Les Patterson. Rab C. Nesbitt. Rab C. Nesbitt, the Jimmy Knapp of show business. But he's really a wonderful, fine, versatile actor, Gregor Fisher.
The question I'd like to ask you is about playing all different theatres up and down the length and breadth of the land. You've played in theatres in the south and the north and even the far north. You mentioned Glasgow Empire. Do people laugh at different things depending on where you are in the country?
Oh, yes. Even further north than that, Gregor. I've been to the Shetlands. I found a little theatre called the Garrison Theatre up there. I went up the Shetlands. I've got what they call a giggle map of Great Britain. And if you look at a map of Great Britain, you see it's a wonderful country now. This giggle of Britain, this septic isle set in a silver sea. It is, and everybody's sense of humour different. You can tell a joke in Edinburgh and they won't laugh in London. They can't hear it. No, you can't. No, please, no. All beautiful seaside resorts we go to with palm trees and people playing kazoos and grass skirts. Where would we be like that? Oh, Widnes. Yes, this is Widnes, the only town in Britain where they grow brown daffodils. Sail up the coast of Britain past Southport, and if you're ever thinking of going to Southport, come and see me first, because I know a man who knows his way to the sea. Of course, you are from Southport. You go... it's such a thrill in Southport to go paddling outside the 3-mile limit. I was mugged there once by Lawrence of Arabia. Keep going north up to Bonnie, Scotland. Hi, the Nicky Noo, when you get tickled in the trossachs. Glasgow was once voted City of Culture, wasn't it, Gregor? Glasgow, City of Culture. You get mugged in French. Seafood, Jimmy. What a wild, exciting city, Glasgow. They used to have street fights every night. No more street fights now. Now they call them pavement debates. Back down again the east coast of England, down to Scarborough here, Scarborough, ever so hilly in Scarborough. Oh, late at night in the summertime in Scarborough, see all the old age pensioners going back to their digs, all roped together. It's like, oh, I'm going The Midlands. Now, you think the Midlands, being the engine room of Britain, you think the Midlands would be... But it isn't. No, it isn't. Midlands, absolutely beautiful. And they've such lovely people there. Up in the northwest, our heroes are Pat and Mick. Well, now, in the Midlands, it's Enoch and Eli. Two fellas called Enoch and Eli. He said, "Where y'all been, or Eli?" "Where y'all been, or Eli?" "Where have you been to, Eli?" He said, "I've been fishing in the cut." "Is he fishing? Did you catch anything?" "Oh, he said, I caught a whale." He said, "You caught a whale? What did you do with it?" He said, "I chucked it back in again, there were no spokes in it." Across the Midlands. In the Midlands, you have Stratford, of course, with Willie Shakespeare. The man invented our business, didn't he? Willie Shakespeare, a man of a few words like myself. He married to Anne Hathaway. She was the first Avon lady. But in those days, I mean, not Stratford now, it's all ashtrays and egg timers, but in those days, Stratford's all little wooden houses with thatched roofs. They had an awful lot of fires. Luckily, most of the men were heavy drinkers. And all Britain... Every place in Britain has a story to tell. I mean, places like Harrow, for instance. Harrow. Now, Harrow is named after a Japanese word of greeting. Harrow. And then, of course, there's our capital, London. London. Wasn't always the capital, you know. Wasn't always the capital. At one time, Britain was divided into two parts. I'm talking about BC, before Coronation Street. Up north, we had, that was ours, Lancashire, we were the Roundheads and the Squareheads. And down south, they had the Cavaliers. They're the ones with the velvet knickerbockers and the lace ruffs and the long wavy hair right down to their waist. Their patron saint was St. Francis Assisi. Well, up north, we were governed by King Dick of Wigan. Yes, Buckingham Palace in those days was in Plank Lane in Lee. King Dick of Wigan, he was the pretender to the throne. He used to go around saying, "I'm not really the king." I just like waving. Yeah. He was arrested. Now, matters came to a head at the Battle of Watford Gap, behind the service area. Imagine the tactics. The Cavaliers, velvet knickerbockers, they'd been hiding on the roof of the little chef for 3 days. Trying to get served. So, me going to battle with 2 bottles, not me, I'm wash and go. The air was filled with the sound of whistling and ricocheting black puddings, and then the Yorkshire Squareheads used the ultimate weapon, the mushy pea bomb. There's always a terrible fallout. When they transferred the match to Stamford Bridge, and then on, where they drew 3-0, and then on to the Battle of Hastings. And we all know the picture there, the Battle of Hastings, clash of sword upon sword, King Harold sitting bravely on his white charger, an arrow stuck in his eye. All his courtiers gathered round him saying, "Keep blinking, H, it'll work its way out." Have you tried blowing your nose? Yes. In the north of England, up north, ladies and gentlemen, we have a great tradition called Coronation Street. And here is a man who is generous to a fault, Alf Roberts. His real name, of course, is Brian Mosley. Young Brian.
I have a question.
Yes?
Every week, as you know, I've got to learn a brand new script.
That's what it's called.
Now, you know thousands of jokes. How do you remember them?
Well, I used... Actually, Brian, I use a thing called the roll-up technique, where you try to get as many laughs as you can. I try for 7 TPM, 7 titters a minute. I'll give you an idea. I went to the doctors last week, nothing wrong, just to make sure you hadn't crossed me off. And because they won't come out and visit, you know. You can be as sick as a footballer. And I was going to play for Liverpool once, but I couldn't spit far enough. So you phone them up and say, "Could the doctor come out and visit me, please?" They said, "Visit? You must have lost your conkers. You can have an appointment, 5:45 in the morning, 3 weeks next Thursday." I could be dead by then. Well, if you are, get someone to phone in and cancel it off. So, I can't stand this. I'll pay. So I've joined Bupa. Bupa, B-U-P-A, British Underpants Prevent Hacking Coughs. Yeah, if you need a bed bath, the lady comes round with a mop and a bucket. So I went down to the doctor's, I went into his insulting room. He said, "You're paying, or shall I hurt you?" I said, "No. take all the clothes off. So I took all my clothes off. He went in the next room for a laugh. And he came back in and he said, you'll have to diet. I said, what colour? No. Did you have any difficulty passing water? I said, well, when I go over a bridge, I go a bit dizzy. Oh, did you have vertigo? No, it's only live around the corner. He said, you must eat more fibre. I said, I'm a moth. People do terrible things, you know. One fella, there's a fellow in Liverpool. He's had 4 wooden legs making a coffee table. So, little old lady went to the doctor's. Little old lady, she said, Doctor, she said, can I have some more sleeping pills from your husband? He said, why? She said, he's woke up. Another little old lady goes to the doctor. She said, Doctor, can I have some of them sleeping tablets to make me sleep? He said, certainly not. He said, I don't believe in any of those tranquilizers. He said, if you can't sleep at night, he said, do it nature's way, organically. Oh, she said, I can't play one. No, he said, no, look. Treat yourself. Before you go up to bed at night, he said, have a little tot of something. Oh, she said, I do that already, Doctor. He said, oh, yes, she said. Before I go to bed at night, she said, I always have 8 whiskies, 4 gins, 2 vodkas, a large brandy, a martini, and an egg flip. Doctor said, you can't sleep. No, she said, I'm up all night singing. My dear little Diddy friend, David Hamilton, is here, ladies and gentlemen. Over here. David, I remember the very first time I met you. It was at a wedding. You were standing on top of the cake.
Well, I'd like to ask you a question, Ken, if I may. Yes, you've created a great fantasy world. Naughty Ash, the Jambutti Mines, and, of course, the Diddy Men. Yeah. How did it all start?
Well, I was a little... When I was a little boy, I used to read The Wizard and the Hotspur, you know, the Rover. And at the back, in the Wizard, they always had advertisements for, oh, Paul, you know, started like that. Itching powder, stink bombs, sea bacroscopes. That's a little thing, a mirror you put in your eye, and for an 8-year-old, it's essential because you can tell if an assassin is creeping up behind you. One day I read one of these advertisements. It said, fool your teachers, amaze your friends, send sweetmeats and stamps, become a ventriloquist. So I did, didn't I? Yes. He'll tell you. Stop it. Stop squinting. You give yourself a migraine. So you stick like that. That's how I started. So you've arrived?
Yes.
Pardon?
Yes.
Well, squeak up. You've got here?
Yes.
And you've walked all the way?
Yes.
Must be very tired?
Yes.
But you're glad to be here?
Yes.
It's for the kids. Can't you say anything else but yes?
Yes.
What is it?
No.
Well, if you've walked all the way, Dickie, you must be very tired and very thirsty.
Yes.
Would you like a big bottle of brown beer? Watch my lips. A big bottle of brown beer and some brown bread and butter, or a shandy?
A shandy.
Good. I'm very pleased to hear that you say that. Now you're going to do the alphabet backwards. The alphabet, 26 letters of the alphabet. Are you going to do the alphabet backwards?
No.
Good, good. Well, I'll tell you what to do. Sing a little song for the ladies and gentlemen. What would you like to sing?
What do you know?
Just don't mess about. Just sing a little song. What would you like to sing?
When the red rocking comes gog-gog-gogging.
Gog-gog-gogging. Are you taking the...
Yes.
Get on with it. When there are grey skies.
Oh, what don't you mind?
I don't mind those grey skies.
What do I do, Doddy?
You make them blue.
Glue?
Oh, blue.
I can't say glue.
Who the hell's asked you to say glue? I never said a word about glue.
I can say stick tight.
What has stick tight got to do with it?
It's glue.
I know it's glue! I know it is, so glue the song!
You're shouting.
I'm not shouting.
I'm soaking wet.
You're not soaking wet. Don't exaggerate.
You're losing your rag.
I'm not losing my rag. Just get on with the song. There's no glue in this. It's a song about colours. You can say green. I don't want you to say green either. Get on the song. Just do the song as is.
As is.
Yes, as is, as it is, as it was, as it was. It might do it. Just do the song as is.
As is.
Yes.
What's my name?
Sonny boy. Friends may forsake me.
Oh. What can they do, Glue?
Let them all forsake me.
Who you got in the end?
I still have you.
What is my name, Aziz?
Sonny boy. You're sent from heaven.
You're right, Cock.
I know your worth.
You're ugly. Close to.
You've made a heaven for me right here on earth.
I want to go to the gents.
They're not the only one. And when I'm old and grey, dear.
What do you mean, when?
Promise you won't stray, dear.
I'm gonna be sick.
'Cause I love you so.
What is my name, Aziz?
Sonny boy.
It's me, Mrs.
Oh, my Sharif. Oh, no, she, why not? I've often been mistaken for his camel. Oh, tonight is romantic night, isn't it, girls? Yes. Okay, someone's on a promise. All over Britain tonight, romantic, frisky ladies, just like you, will all be sitting up in bed tonight and saying, Harry. Harry. All right, then, Charlie. So, are you very romantic, Mrs.? Yes, I can tell you have very dreamy eyes. I should go on shandies now if I were you. Our next questioner, ladies and gentlemen, is a young lady who's so full of energy. She's a wonderful advertisement for long life batteries. She's here at the front, Miss Sue Pollard.
I've got to tell you, I've never told you this before, but I've often fantasised about you and me oscillating. Now, please. I mean, let's face it, with them teeth, you could kiss me and nibble me ear all at the same time. But, Ken, seriously, do you think it helps to have a funny face to be a comedian, or don't you mind?
Well, actually, Sue, I can tell you that I'm a sex symbol for women who don't care. When you're a Casanova like me, you have to keep yourself in shape. Have you seen me in Baywatch? I wouldn't mind. I do all the exercises every morning in front of the telly. It's hop down, hop down, hop down, hop down, then the other eyelid. I did 25 minutes running on the spot this morning. Had my braces caught in the banisters. I got all the gymnasium equipment to put the weights thing. I bought one of those rowing machines, but it sank. So I went to the doctors for a checkup, and the doctors told me that I've got to pack up the sumo wrestling, and it seems I've got nappy rash. Picture now, in your mind's eye, picture nothing rude, just picture the human body now, naked and unashamed. How is it all the best bits don't have any bones in? There are 37 bones in the human neck, more if you're eating kippers. Over 285 bones in the human body, enough to last the average dog a fortnight. As the Irishman said when he saw his X-ray photograph, he said, yes, I don't remember eating all those bones. I think men's legs have a terrible lonely life, don't you? Men's legs, standing in your trousers in the dark all day. Just an occasional flash of sunlight. Have a look at your legs when you go to bed tonight. Try it. When you go to bed tonight, sir, take a torch, take a flashlight up to bed with you tonight, and make a tent. Have you ever done that? You weren't lucky, no. Take one of those coloured flashlights up to bed, shine the green one on your legs. Give your wife a nudge and say, Alice, we'll have to lay off the lettuce. Scientists and doctors, they're making tremendous strides. They're working day and night to make sure transplants, one of these days, with all the... You could rearrange anything you want. You could have another ear under your arm. Fancy, another ear. Frighten the life out of people. Say, I beg your pardon, how dare you talk? What do you mean, 5 items or less? You could have another mouth on the top of your head. Another mouth. When you're late for work in the morning, stick a bacon sandwich under your cap and eat it on the way to the bus. You could have a third eye on the end of your finger. Yeah, well, as I say, now the next question... The next question comes from every lady's favourite husband, provided she's not married to him. From Coronation Street, it's Peter Baldwin. Okay. Young Peter.
Young, thank you. I'm curious. You may not believe it, but I visit health shops quite a lot.
Yeah?
You don't believe it?
Yeah, no, I do. No.
Well, in those health shops, they sell such things as natural remedies and herbal potions.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you ever tried such things?
Oh, yes, quite on. And how is it, when you go into these health shops, they always smell as though they've got Shergar in the back, don't they? Different alternative remedies, yes. I once went into aromatherapy. Have you heard about aromatherapy? It's based on, smells, pongs, chats, niffs, woosters. And aromatherapy, it's all based on aromatic oils. And because, the human being, us human beings, we have a very, very highly developed sense of smell. No, not as highly developed as dogs. Dogs have a very, very... You wouldn't think so, some of the things they sniff, but they do. How would it be if we had the same highly sensitive smell as dogs? A lady would stand at the front door, 5:30 at night, and say, hello, your dad's just got off the bus. Different aromatherapy, different aromatic oils have a very romantic effect. Now, rosemary, for instance, rosemary is good for a headache. Well, she always had one when I tried, anyway. Sandalwood, very good for corns and bunions. Castor oil, very good for athletics. Half a bottle of that, you don't need starting blocks. My Auntie Nellie, she went on this evening primrose oil, oil of evening primrose. Took it for a year. She got eaten by a caterpillar. For my complexion, I use oil of Ulay, industrial strength, of course. 3-in-1 oil, that's very good for loosening nuts. So watch what you're doing there. I do have romantic moments. I was walking down the road this morning and this young lady came up to me. She said, hello, handsome, can you tell me the way to the opticians? I used to think I was wonderful. I used to think I was marvellous in bed. Then I found out all my girlfriends had asthma. I was so worried at one time, I thought I'd consult Dr. Ruth. And, have you seen her, Dr. Ruth? She looks like a little prune. She looks like... She talks like Sigmund Freud and looks like Clement Freud. I went round to Dr. Ruth's office, and what a woman. There she was, professional to the last, drawing moustaches on Pirelli calendars. And she said... Come inside, she said, come inside. Where have you left your motorbike? Is it 500cc? Is it 3? It doesn't matter. Size is not important. Talk to me. She said, I want to hear every mucky little detail of your grubby little mind. She said, tell me first, do you know the difference between men and women? I said, of course they're women. They're the ones with the squeaky voices who dance backwards. And keep asking for money. She said, but do you know, she said, do you know how to charm a lady, how to charm a woman? Do you know how to make her feel good? I said, of course I do. And by the way, you've got some spinach between your teeth. Are you a considerate partner at home? I said, I always lift my feet up when she's hoovering. She said, do you know what an erogenous zone is? I said, I know you can't park there after 6 o'clock. Have you ever tried an aphrodisiac? I said, I went out with a Norwegian girl once. She said, do you believe in safe sex? I said, I've got a handrail round the bed. I always try to keep one foot on the ground. Look. She said, what about your libido? I said, I'm going to swap it for a Sierra. It's no good. I said, it's no good. have a fine figure of a man, Brian Murphy. Brian Murphy just returned from touring with the Chippendales. He's on the back row, so the lads on the front row complained. Well, kept knocking their hats off. Brian, your question, please.
Yes, in the league table of great lovers...
Yes.
You and I have played the game and scored hundreds of times.
Of course.
So, where do you think the British male... Does he come out on top, or where does he stand, or lie?
Well, I think British men, if we have a fault, and I doubt it, it is... Oh, come on now, you wouldn't swap us, girls. You wouldn't fancy one of those continental Romeos, would you, ladies? You would not. You wouldn't. What? It's too far to go with the spare parts, for one thing. I mean, fancy being married to a Frenchman, a froggy. They're often Frenchmen are always, you better look the other way. So this could turn nasty. How can I put it so it won't frighten the ladies? Frenchmen are always... You couldn't stand that, missus. You'd be hiding in the gas cupboard all day. Sort of shock you, lady, because I know this. You really want to be shocked at it. I can do it. I can do this alternative comedy. I was doing alternative comedy when I was 4 years old. My mother said, pull your trousers up. Not all that funny. I don't mind alternative comedy, as long as they don't start telling jokes. Did you know that the average Frenchman on a Sunday afternoon would rather than watch Match of the Day? Yeah, they're not normal like we are. If we were in France now, none of these fellas would be in here tonight. They'd all be out. If they had any sense, I'd be with them. Probably holding coats, but I'd be there. Now it looks like we're stuck with them forever because we've got the Channel Tunnel. What a marvellous achievement they've done. The Channel for years. This big thing's been boring. Well, a bit like myself, actually. On the English Channel. And then, it was about a year ago, the final breakthrough. Did you see on television? That was history being made. You suddenly saw it happen before your eyes. A little 4-inch hole appeared in the Channel Tunnel wall, and for the very first time in history, an Englishman reached through and throttled a Frenchman. And they were all open to do it as fast as they were digging it their side. Our lads were filling it in this side. They eat snails in France. It takes them 3 hours to get to the bathroom. Did you know, missus, that if a snail was to crawl up your leg, it would be 3 weeks before you went, oh. You see those French cars? Cars, look like sheds on wheels. When he gets the horn, he goes, We don't need all these continental cars. I mean, the Volvo, the Swedish car. A lot of people say the Volvo's a bit too heavy. Mostly people who've been run over by one. Seen the Irish cars? 4 steering wheels, 1 for each passenger. Hello there! Get yourself a British mini metro, 85 miles per gallon, more if there's 2 pedalling. And ladies, you wouldn't fancy one of those handsome Italians with the black wavy hair, would you, ladies? Oh, they creep up behind you when you're doing the sprouts. The Scandinavians, big, hairy Great Danes, Vikings with horns growing out of their hats and bacon sandwiches strapped to their legs. Roaming all round Britain, offering housewives free rashers. No, I've no idea what day is round, love. My sister, she was engaged to an Eskimo, but she broke it off. In Germany, all the hymns are hers. And a funny look, Germans are always tiling bathrooms. Krauting, they call it. And in Russia, everything ends in off, so you've no chance. Let's serenade the girls with a continental song. Take me to your heart again. Let's make a start again. Forgiving and forgetting. Take me to your heart. Do you know that's the one word that terrifies men? Again. That's the one word that frightens the life out of a man, man. Again. I think ladies these days are getting very, very domineering, even a little bit bossy sometimes, aren't they, lads? Yeah! Come on, fellas, stick about. Women these days, they're getting a bit too pushy, aren't they, lads? Yeah! Yeah! Well, we're not going to put up with it much longer, are we, lads? What are we going to do about it, lads? Nothing. as long as we know what the battle plan is. All over Britain, all over Britain, all over Britain at night, men, big men, strong men, are lying alone in bed, trembling with fear under the duvet. Don't leave me, Teddy. Big men, macho men, lying in bed, terrified when they hear cell block H finishing downstairs. And they know that she'll shortly be coming up for a spot of corrective training. Powerful men, husbands, as a man with the nerve taken out. Lying fearful when they hear her getting ready for bed in the bathroom, gargling with Listerine. Terrified when they hear the Estee Lauder and the Avon going on. Strong men, terrified of that bathroom door opening and she who must be obeyed comes wearing one of those pink neglecteds and a transparent nightie, standing there as if she's modelling for scatter cushions. Carrying a see-through hot water bottle. Forcing her attentions on him. Forcing her attention. You shouldn't do that, young ladies. You mustn't do that, girls. You mustn't surprise your husband like that. I mean, it doesn't give him time to think of anybody. You see, love and romance is different all over the world. In France, when a lady's having a romantic interlude, she looks up and she says, "Oh, sacre bleu. Oh, sacre flippin' bleu. Oh, toujours l'amour, tonight for sure." In Italy, when a lady's having a romantic interlude, she looks up and she says, "Sempre amore. Molte amore. Sempre amore." In Britain, when a lady's having a romantic interlude, she looks up and she said, "That ceiling needs doing there. It's all gone flaky. Well, you're texting. How about a fitted wardrobe from B&Q? And when are you going to do something about that shed? There are jobs need doing in this house and have needed doing for some time. I will have to get a man in. Oh. Colin, play me some romantic music. Soothe the situation. I don't know this one, it's very nice, isn't it? Transported to a land of beautiful love songs. Who will ever remember Ivan Novello's "I've Caught My Lilacs in the Spring Again"? Beautiful romantic ballads that can set men's pulses racing. I can't get over a girl like you, so get up and make the tea yourself. There are tears on my pillow. The rest of the bed seems all right. Finding a new comic talent, ladies and gentlemen, is like finding a diamond. And this lad, he comes straight from Ratner's. This... a wonderful new comedian from Liverpool, Mr. John Martin. John Martin.
Ken, I'd like to ask a question. I've seen you work so many times, and you seem to bridge the generation gap with laughter. Mm-hmm. What do you really think of the young generation?
Well, I think young people today are very nice, really. Taken the right way, by the throat. They laugh at us, you know. If they laugh at the teenagers, they call us wrinklies. Wrinklies? How dare they? How would they like it if we call them zitsies? Next time one of them gets on your wick, just say, "Hello, zitsy." How's your pimps? Acne, rah, rah, rah. And one word the teenagers can't stand, you know, clear a sill. What is a teenager? A teenager is somebody who leaves the house at night in the car and comes back in the police van. But you mustn't argue with them. You see fathers arguing with their 15-year-old sons. They say, son, can you spare me a moment, son? Have I ever struck you, son? No, you must talk to young people, listen. You must talk to young people, ladies and gentlemen, and we must listen to what they're saying. This is what I do all over the country when I'm touring. As part of my social conscience, I try to meet as many young people as I can, and I talk to them, and I listen to what they're saying. What's a pillock? It's the same as a plonker. Is it really? Oh. Well, I'd always known I was a plonker. I didn't know I was a pillock as well, though. Well, I flatter myself I get on very well, young people. As a matter of fact, they call me a Richard head. And I believe that's quite... Hello, old Richard head, they shout. Go off. Or words to that effect. The vicar said to me last Sunday, he said, Kenneth, isn't it wonderful to see the young people walking down the road carrying the good book? I said, they're taking their videos back, vicar. They hire these blasted videos all about werewolves and vampires. Fancy anybody paying good money to watch somebody with long hair and big teeth. Sitting over here, ladies and gentlemen, I can see the absolutely beautiful Jane Horrocks from Absolutely Fabulous. Lovely Jane.
How do you manage to keep topical with your jokes? I mean, do you use the newspapers?
Do I use the newspapers? We're pretty primitive up north, but not that. That was my job, cut him into little squares. There's always plenty of new jokes, Jane. People say, whether new... There are as many new jokes every day as there are people doing daft things. And we all do daft things, don't we? Yeah. Just keep your eyes open and your ears open, and you'll hear... I mean, a news item, for instance, a news item tonight. Jeremy Paxman was bitten by a dog on his way to the studio tonight. But after being given injections and treatment for shock, the dog was allowed to go home. The ones I like best in the newspapers are the advertisement columns. You know, for sale, vaulting pole, slightly imperfect, would suit enthusiastic midget. For sale, 300 copies of Playboy magazine and assorted sex toys. Would exchange for Zimmer frame and orthopedic bed. Personal column. Short, squat, ugly, bald-headed pensioner wishes to meet tall, wealthy, beautiful blonde with a view to a warm, passionate relationship. Sense of humour essential. Personal column. Arthur, I think of you every night as I lie waiting for your touch. P.S. I'm on the other side of the bed. Your wife, Doris. This is what happens. How does a man know when he's growing old? Comes on you all of a sudden, you know. It's all right for you, ladies. A man has to realise he's growing old. Little things tell him. Do you mind, please? A man's life is like a long journey. And during his lifetime, a man has to travel so many weary miles, down lanes, crossing plains, climbing mountains and fording rivers. And all the time during his life, a man is searching. Oh, he's searching for the truth. And then one day, everything starts to click. Your neck, your back, your knees, your elbows. And you fall out of bed in the morning, you sound like a maraca band. And your wife's in the bathroom going, chon, 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 chon. You get no sympathy when you're not well. You're not going to be off work, are you? A man has to realise he's not as young as he used to was. In the autumn of his life, there are signs and portents that tell him you get out of breath playing chess. Your wedding suit comes back into fashion. You have to use both hands to clean your teeth. You still chase after girls, but you can't remember why. And your wife doesn't mind you chasing after girls, because she says, our dog chases after cars and he can't drive. You wake up one morning and find you've got a bald-headed son. Your wife makes you wear dark trousers when you go out. You can't walk down the road like that. You can't go like that. Go and stand by the fire for 10 minutes. Go. Here, I'll use the hairdryer. All right. When you do go out, people start helping you onto the bus. When you just got off the blasted thing. Now, ladies never grow old, do you, girls? No. You look so beautiful tonight. And you always will look beautiful, ladies. Ladies are always beautiful. But you'll know you're knocking on just a little bit, girls, because at Christmas time, everybody gives you lavender bath cubes for Christmas. Your family start taking you home early from parties. now, Gran. It's like a snowball. You might hurt someone. You've got to go home now, Gran. You've got a big day tomorrow. You're having your feet done. You'll never grow old, ladies and gentlemen. You know why? Because you've all got lovely chuckle muscles. That's what keeps you young, you know, your chuckle muscle. And if you use and exercise your chuckle muscle every day and have a good old laugh, or better still, make somebody else laugh, you'll always stay young and frisky and healthy. But if you don't use your chuckle muscle, it dries up and drops off. And tonight, we've heard the most beautiful sound in the world, the sound of laughter and happiness. Forget all your troubles. I'm fully paid up now till 1975. You're still right to me. They said they'd keep in touch. I got a Christmas card from him. He said, "'Tis more blessed to give than to receive." 200 years we've been paying this. Like 200 years ago, this balmy MP, he's sitting along there in Westminster one afternoon, he's got nothing to do. If you know what he thinks I know, he said. I know. I'll invent income tax. I'll invent income tax. And so he did, 200 years ago. In those days, it was tuppence in the pound. I thought it still was. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a wonderful... Thank you. Thank you for being a tatty-hilarious and a punchless audience. We wish you good health, the time to enjoy it, and lots of happiness! Happiness, happiness, the greatest gift that we possess. I thank the Lord that I've been blessed with more than my share of happiness. Here we go now! To me, this world is a wonderful place. I'm the luckiest human in the human race. I've got no silver and I've got no gold, but I've got happiness in my soul. Happiness to me is an ocean tide, a sunset fading on a mountainside, a big old heaven full of stars above, when I'm in the arms of the one I love. Oh, happiness, come on, happiness, the greatest gift that we possess. I thank the Lord that we've been blessed with more than our share of everybody. Happiness, oh, happiness is the greatest gift that we possess.